I. New cards, new deck, new life. King of Cups, he comes up right. Always, all days, all nights. Sing do I. Highly gifted, my jacket's thrifted. Watch me get a pattern shifted, just acting different. Living in my minutes, I'm catalytic. That's why they love to jack the style like it's on a Civic. I will never pull the strings like an oligarch. I do my dance at the club with the lonely hearts, watching all these little men try and be Bonapartes and make the rest of us deal with their broken parts. Despite evil, I like people. Put your hands in the air if you're bipedal. Yeah, if life is a film, give me 5 sequels. Trying to pull my thread through the plot like a fine needle. All of these lines equal proof that I live alone. Got the benefit of time to deliver flows. Eating creamy peanut butter, buddy, I lick the bowl. Brings my soul body into the physical. New cards, new deck, new life. King of Cups, he comes up right. Always, all days, all nights. Sing do I. New cards, new deck, new life. King of Cups, he comes up right. Always, all days, all nights. Sing do I.
Tattoos from my toes to my earlobes. Was a role model, I never had a hero. I learned how to live through the stereo. Coming from where I come from, the inferior. Everything you see ain't what it appears though. Everything that I built, made that from zero, then added a zero. I am my hero. You couldn't imagine what it's like in my mind. It's beauty and catastrophe at the same time. Remember they laughed at me when it was game time. Now I know that they mad at me, I'm one you can't find. I'm not from the day, I come alive at night. I'm not what you used to, couldn't recognize. They all on the ground while I'm taking flight. Yeah, you're welcome to join me, I promise I won't bite.
Things they say, they're never getting in my way. And even if I make mistakes, I will always see them through. Cause I don't wanna play your game. I had enough, I'm burning up so hot I just break your chain. You can never stop what's building up inside of me.
I guess I don't fit in with the imposters. I'm taking the mask off, prepare your conscience, prepare for honest, cut off all the nonsense. I'm all in your chakra, wonder who shot you. Go call the doctor, boom like the chopper. Don't you get chopped up, I'm here to stop you. Whoever wants smoke like a roster, break you off proper.
Things they say.
We're back! Just before you had a chance to miss us, 2024, back with a vengeance here on the OH.Report video podcast. Had a great 8 days hanging out with my family and my friends up in the Rocky Mountains in Colorado and enjoying the time off, but grind time has returned, and we're going to bring you some of the best action that you've ever seen on the high school hardwood. We got some wrestling coming up. Lots of great things here in 2024. But tonight on the podcast, a whole array of topics. We're going to talk about the Browns sitting most of their starters yesterday in Cincy, ending their 4-game win streak. But the playoffs, baby, they're on the horizon. We'll break down that game with Houston, plus some crazy recent performances in high school basketball. We're going to talk about a kid who put up 53 points the other night in a game, plus the college football national championship game going down basically right now. Effie James, the unofficial mayor of Mansfield, is going to join us. He's going to talk about that. Bunch of other topics. Travis Barty is going to chime in as well. Big league here in the house. But first, guys, we are going to begin with a local product who just brought a world boxing title back here to the Mansfield area. He is with us in studio right now, the new UBO Super Featherweight World Boxing Champion of the Globe, Mr. Chaise Nelson.
Thank
My
you,
guy. Hey man, it's my first time seeing you since the holidays, so I think it's you kind of customary to say a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to you. And I got to jump right out of the gates, and I got to ask, because I saw a post that you had on your Facebook about New Year. If we can bring up the picture, because I got a couple of questions about where things went from here. So we got, an assortment of cheese, some crackers, a couple of bottles of wine, and of course the World Championship belt. What was the next move? What happened after this?
We actually went to sleep at like 10:30, so we didn't stay up all night. Listen, I was tired. I just got back home from my flight, and which was a long flight, long travel, and I got asked to go out, and we decided to stay in, relax, hang out, and we ended up going to sleep. So.
Just a party for two?
Yeah, just a party for two. Just me and my girlfriend.
Now, how many of those cheese and crackers did you suck down?
I ate a lot of them, considering I had to lose all that weight before I left for Christmas. Everyone was eating. They had a great time, and I just sit there and just smell the food. So when I got back, that's all I did nonstop, was just eat. So I gained it back.
And are you a wine guy? Is that your go-to?
That's more my girlfriend, but I mean, I don't mind it though. I kind of had like my favorite, which was the cupcake, but that's about it.
Yeah, it's really just all about that World Championship
Absolutely.
belt. So bringing that home, I gotta imagine, man, you're just walking with like a little bit more swagger these days, knowing that you're a world champ. Just how does it feel to have? Because you let me hold it. That's got a little bit of girthy weight to it, man. It's got to be a sensational feeling knowing that you brought that home.
It is. It's like all those, all that hard work and time put into it. It really feels good, and it shows me like my hard work is paying off, and I can do anything I want to as long as I just stay dedicated and focused and put the hard work in. I can make it happen. So.
You fought a 6-foot-tall dude, had 28 wins, 20 KOs, looking at the resume right now.
Yeah.
Would you say this was right around the biggest test of your career, if not the best fighter that you've gone toe-to-toe with?
Absolutely, because he's also, he fought for the IBF at 147, so that kind of tells you how big this guy is. He was really strong, but I just stayed on the outside, and I just fought smart, man. I had 12 rounds to work, and I just took my time and picked him apart from the outside, We knew going in he was strong, and I didn't realize how tall he was until we got in there, and I was like, whoa, okay, he's pretty tall. So the reach, of course, was on his side, but the speed and the accuracy was on mine. So
split decision too, I saw, right?
That's what they say. So we had two judges. It was like 117, 110. And then we had a judge, I believe the judge was from Venezuela, the same place this guy's from, and he had it 110, 118 the opposite way, and there's no way.
So maybe they don't have very good glasses or contacts.
I don't
in
know
Venezuela.
what happened, but a split decision, I wouldn't agree with that, but I'm just thankful that I brought it back home. So
when you hear that he wins on one judge's scorecard, then they announce you, like, are you biting your nails? You could have like a little mini panic attack, or were you still calm?
I was definitely worried because, I was sent there to not win. I was sent there to lose. And, they said that first score, and we were like, what is going on? And then like the last two, I knew it was me. Because, like, I knew I won the fight. When you're in there, you just know. You know for a fact if you won or if you came up short. I don't care what anyone says. And I knew for sure we outboxed them. We had a good game plan. And we fought smart, and I was like, for sure, I definitely won this fight. So that first score kind of had us nervous, but the last two, I knew it was in the bag.
You fought international again, south of the border, down in Colombia, so getting some of that flavor. And outside, this is another fight that you've had that's actually been out in the elements, and you told me it was so hot, videos weren't even working out there. So to go the full 12 rounds, how wild was it to be in the elements? And you said you even got sunburned on your shoulders, man. Like, take me through just how much mental grit, toughness you had to show to bring back that belt, fighting in the sun. I mean, my God, that looks like you just got out the sauna.
So it definitely wasn't ideal. They had me fighting in 85-degree weather. It felt like 100. And we fought in front of a hotel. So we were in the plaza, and there was no shade. Like, when I say there was no shade, there was nowhere to go to cool down. So we're fighting out there in this bright sun, bright heat, to the point where like my mouthpiece in the 9th round actually was gluing to my teeth. I was choking on my mouthpiece.
My God.
So the elements were definitely rough, but we just pulled through. I stayed mentally tough, which was hard to do in that kind of heat. And just like I said, I'm thankful I could just bring this back home because it was not ideal. I feel like they did that on purpose because I'm from Ohio. It's cold here. If I don't in that heat, I would never do that again. That is rough. I was drained by 12 rounds. That's a long time. So I was drained.
I can't even imagine. At what point in the fight did you feel like, my God, like there's still a ways to go here. I better mentally really zero in and focus on the goal.
So the 8th round, I asked my coach, I said, hey, what round is it? I thought we were on round 10. So there's 2 rounds left. And he's like, it's the 8th round. And I was like, oh my goodness. So it was definitely time to like lock in and really just take my time and just calm down, because I was, like I said, I was drained, you know. The heat really makes you feel weak. So we had to lock in, focus in, and get the job done. Yeah,
How much weight do you feel like you lost just throughout the course of like that day and then the fight?
So actually, in that picture that you guys posted with me sitting in the chair with the towel on my head, after the fight, I actually like felt like I was gonna pass out. So they sit me on a chair, put a cold rag on my head, and put like water on me because I was just so hot. I feel like I was just like overheated. And yeah, I feel like I lost like 5 pounds, man. I mean, it was a rough 12 rounds, and especially my first time going 12 rounds in the heat like that. I was like, oh man, definitely rough.
Yeah, definitely rough, but the drip game, if we can bring that up, let's showcase what you were wearing in the ring, because I got a couple questions about this look, Chaise. What do you call these trunks that you have on here?
It's like gladiator trunks. They just, for me, they're more like breathable and I can move around better. And also the shirt, that's Demetrius Howell. He's a local tattoo artist from Mansfield. He's a good friend of mine. So I was also representing him too, which is really cool. Yeah, just something that you can move around in and feel free.
Well, since you're clearly willing to take fashion risks, like when you're in the boxing rings, we had a few ideas for you that you might want to try out in your next fight. Go ahead, show them the first one. Well, what about this? I mean, it kind of shows, hey, like I'm here to play, but at the same time, it's breathable, it's fun, it's airy.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. That kind of looks like a little skirt, but it's
a little schoolgirlish,
yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, how about this? You know, it might be a little warm if you're fighting outside, but
in 85 degrees, maybe if I was in your neck of the woods, Colorado.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. But Colombia, no.
Not ideal. Okay. Ooh,
oh, very cute.
Little
very
mermaid
cute.
garment
I like that
here.
a lot.
Might be tough with the footwork to maneuver on the angles, but if you can figure out how to flow in that thing, what a look.
I might be a flat-footed, but I think I could probably pull that one off. I really do.
Okay, and then
wow,
I can't even really tell what's going on here. Is that just like the drawers dripping a little bit? Just kind of
showing.
Kind of like the Lil Weezy look.
Very nice, professional. I like it.
No doubt.
Wow, that's a new one. Okay.
Okay.
I like that too. Very
but
cute.
that might like strike your opponent where he can't look away from that.
Yeah, it might distract him. I like that.
Almost can't unsee it. And then kind of a kilt look.
I like
here.
that look. I like that look.
So you could come out bagpipes, the whole 9 yards.
Absolutely.
All right, last look here. And then since like AI is kind of the new move, and just like we thought robot legs.
I like that too.
It might work out. You don't even have to do the work yourself.
Might help me with some strength as well.
Just throw it into cruise control. You know, set it to high mode and just throw the hands.
I like it.
All right, so a few different options. We're trying to get you prepared here for your next fight. It was your first fight, actually, in 9 months. You've been really busy with the police academy here in Mansfield, which we're all very excited that you're going to be a part of this. And you're right there at the end of the tunnel, too. Like, you're getting pretty close. So just talk about the training that you've been getting so far in the police academy and how you think some of your boxing background has helped you prepare for this.
It's been very, very hard throughout the past 6 months that we've been there. We have 3.5 weeks left, and we kind of came together as like a family because, you know, it's such a close group now. We came in not knowing each other, and the fact that we've gone through the stuff we have just brings us closer. We've lost 3 people because how hard it is, but that just kind of makes us appreciate each other that much more. And like I said, I have 3.5 weeks left. I think it's just a way to give back to my community. Which I'm very thankful for. 9 people went out for the position, and only 2 made it. Me and my partner, Joseph Sabo. He's from the Air National Guard as well, so I think I have that right. I'm not sure. But just the fact that like we could both make it through and help each other as we're going is very helpful too. So not only did I feel like I like gained friends, but I gained family as well. And like I said, we have 3.5 weeks left, and I'm really excited to get out there and just help my city out as much as I can and be a good role model.
Talking with you a little bit before we came live on here, I think it's really cool. You said there's kind of a young infusion right now into the police corps around here, and that you all kind of have that same mentality of just kind of wanting to give back to the community. So it feels like the Mansfield Police Force, it's getting, you know, a new tune-up.
It is.
With some fresh perspectives.
Absolutely.
And, you know, not that they have a bad reputation, but, you know, this could really help them elevate their standing in the community, I'd say.
Absolutely. We got to ride along with these guys for a whole week before we started school, actually, and just to hear like their stories and stuff, and just to see how close they are and stuff. It's like I said, it's really like a family in there. They're all very young when it comes to the second shift, which I'll be placed on as well. And like I said, they're all just a bunch of good guys, really close with each other. Like they cook out and stuff together before work and all kinds of stuff. So it's really cool to see them all come together as one and work together, and you know, just try to help out as much as they can. And I'm excited to be there. Definitely thankful to have that chance.
How geeked are you to be able to just throw on the police sirens and just go as fast as you want, anywhere you want, get through traffic, and just take matters into your own hands?
I'm excited, but I don't think we can do that. So there are certain rules.
I think you can do anything you want when you got those sirens,
there
dog.
There are certain rules that we have to follow. You know, we can't go crazy, but like I said, I'm really happy about being able to help people and set a good example, you know, and that's like my big thing, is just trying to give back. And you know, it's been a hard year for Mansfield, and they've had to go through a lot. So maybe I'm like naive, but I feel like if I can like set a good example and do as much as I can, maybe I could change a lot of the stuff that's going on. But yeah, I have nothing but respect for them guys. So.
Have you had to memorize the Miranda rights?
Yes,
I
have.
You got that down now?
I have. Anything from OVI to Miranda rights to laws, I mean, the whole 9 yards. So it's nonstop with me every day.
Well, outside of the police academy, you mentioned that you're trying to stay a little bit more active now as a fighter. Is there an obligation when you become a world champion? Do they recommend perhaps that you have to fight so many times per year?
So I have to defend my title within a year. So, which obviously, like, as you guys know, I usually fight more than once a year anyway. So 2024, I definitely want to be active as much as I can, along with my law enforcement career as well. And I would love to do a bare knuckle fight. So that's something I'm really excited about, and I really want to get into. I have a connection already, and I think I'm going to take that route as well this year. So try something different and just see if I like it or not, which I'm sure I will.
Yeah, you've said in the past, MMA is something that really interests you, and it seems like the bare knuckle is really starting to generate a lot of steam right now. And, you know, if the money is right, why not get out there and try to tune somebody up?
Yeah, especially, you know, getting paid to punch someone in the face is always a fun job. So, I mean, you can't go wrong with that, you know. But I was a sparring partner for one of my friends, Brandon Burr. He's from Strong Style in Independence, Ohio. That's like my home gym. That's where I go. And I was his sparring partner throughout his whole camp, and he actually ended up going on and winning the bare knuckle 125-pound world title. So we kind of talked with Coach Alex. By the way, Coach Alex is the only one to reach out to me and ask me how can he help throughout my whole entire camp. So shout out to him. Shout out to Strong Style. That's like family to me. But long story short, they came to me and they said, hey, there's no one at 130. We got Brandon at 125. There's no one at 130. I feel like with your styles make fights, you're going to go in there and you could take over the whole thing. So I think you should just try it out to see if you like it, and I think that they would love you. So it's something I definitely want to think about and try and pursue.
Yeah, and maybe jump back and forth, do a boxing match, a little bare knuckle.
Yeah, absolutely. As long as I'm not getting cut up and stuff and hurt, which, like I said, styles make fights. I feel like if I can outbox and be smart in there, I'll be fine. But as long as I'm not getting cut up and hurt, I think I'll be fine.
I was doing a little research today in your weight class, and they got you right about top 30 in terms of Americans within the super featherweight. And you've been fighting a lot internationally, taking on some people down in South America and so forth, Mexico. Do you want to start taking on some of these top Americans?
Yes, absolutely.
And is that kind of the next progression and step for you, showcasing that you're maybe top 20 and then try to work your way up from there?
Absolutely. I feel like BoxRec too, you know, you get on there and you kind of look at the stats, and it can be confusing because some of these guys, they pay to boost their stats and stuff. So the whole top 30 thing, I mean, the only two losses I have, they're both top 20 in the world. and it's always by majority decision, both losses. I've never been knocked out, never been stopped, never been hurt. So I feel like they say that, but at the end of the day, I think I showed I'm willing to get in there with anybody. I don't care. So after I got this title this year, I think I should get my shot. I mean, it's here. I'm right where I need to be now. There's no excuses. They can't say no to me anymore. I feel like I should get that shot, you know? And I think it will come definitely this year. And if it doesn't come, you know, we kind of have our own way of forcing it to come. You know what I'm saying? We'll make it come, regardless if we have to call people out or do whatever we have to do to get there. We will. Like I said, I think I'm one of the best in the world at 126, and I'm a 126-pound fighter. I moved up to 130, and that was my choice. But I think I'll move back down to 126 if I have to. And if they don't want to give me something at 126, I'll go up to 130. I don't think I can make 122, but 126, 130 for sure. So I kind of have like 2 weight classes now where I can kind of push for that, you know? And I think I proved that in my last fight. I mean, who else do you know that's off a 9-month layoff that's fighting someone who's 28-4 with 20 knockouts? And going all 12 rounds with them and winning. I mean...
Outdoors,
you know?
Getting your mouthpiece stuck to your teeth.
In an environment where you're not supposed to win. I mean, and I'm also going through school this whole time. So I'm a full-time student and finding time to still train and kind of basically do it myself, unless it was for Coach Alex from Strong Style. So I'm kind of doing it myself and still pulling it off. I mean, I just won a world title and I was literally doing it by myself, unless I was going to the Strong Style, you know, which is 2 or 3 times a week. So
Self-made, baby.
I mean,
I love it.
I think it speaks for itself. You know, I think I'm here for a reason, and I'm not going anywhere. So I definitely want my shot this year.
I think it's really cool, your progression, because I talked to you earlier in your career. You still had the undefeated record,
Yeah.
asking you basically the same question. You want to take on some of these top 20 type of fighters,
Absolutely.
and you were wise beyond your years. You said, I don't think I'm quite ready to jump into that mix yet. There's a progression here. I got to get my record to a certain point. Then you start eyeballing some different challenges for you. So to get to a new step and a new level, I can see it in your eyes. I can tell that if you got to pull up in that squad car and call some dudes out and let them know, hey, well, I'm coming for the 126-pound belt, this is your time. This could be the next couple of years real big for you.
And that's what's so great about this is, like, you've got to see me grow throughout the years and stuff. And I've also got to see the same, so I'm very thankful for that. But, you know, back then I wasn't sure. You know, I had to get my record up. I was kind of sitting in a bad contract. But now I'm here. The record's there. The work's done. I mean, I brought home the title. There's really nothing else that they can say to me. It's like,
Boom.
I deserve my chance. I worked for it, and I got it. And we're here now. So, you know, I'm expecting a call sometime this year. And like I said, if we don't get the call, if you can't give me number 1, give me number 2. Give me number 3, give me number 4. Just anybody. You know, I'm willing to step in there with whoever, as long as the money's right. We've never said no to a fight, but if I'm fighting one of these guys, you got to make sure that the money matches the fight. That's all I can say. But like I said, though, anybody, I don't care.
Hey, you guys heard it right here on the OH Report. Anybody, anytime, any place, anywhere, just make sure that you bring a couple of Fazuls, make sure my boy's taken care of. Would love to get a fight. I know you just had one in Westlake not that long ago here in Ohio, but if we can get it at least back in the States so we can come out and check that thing out, man, that sounds like a great time to me. Before we turn you loose, something that is also very exciting going on right now. How about those Cleveland Browns, baby, huh? Playoff bound. Going to be taking on the Texans coming up on Saturday, and I know that you're a devout fan. What's been most exciting for you throughout this crazy up and down journey of watching the Browns to get to this point?
I think my favorite part of this year was seeing Joe Flacco just come in out of nowhere.
Crazy. Who thought that?
And just, I mean, at the age he is and where he was at, he just came in and he just took over. And the fact that the guy's out there winning games and looking great doing it, I mean, who could hate that? I mean, shout out to Joe Flacco. He really turned the whole year around, because after Nick Chubb and then, you know, Deshaun Watson, we figured the year was done with.
Pretty
like
much.
I said, he came out of nowhere and he's doing a great job, and we love to see it, man. We love to see it. It's good to have a winning year, of course. And the fact that we're, you know, wild card team, playoff team, I mean, you can't be mad at that. So I love Joe Flacco.
What's the realistic expectations that you're placing on the Browns? We got to go on the road, of course, take on C.J. Stroud, Buckeye, having a phenomenal. He's going to be the rookie of the year, no question, I think, offensively. If we can get past this one, do you envision an actual run for the Browns to get one of those, a little bit bigger version?
I mean, I believe so. I mean, I think it was really smart that we rested our guys against Cincinnati. I think we could beat C.J. Stroud. Of course, Deshaun Watson would love that anyways. Go there and beat them. And then what we got Baltimore next if we beat, how'd that work?
It would depend. Likely Baltimore, unless there's another upset with a road team winning. Then we might have a different matchup. There's a possibility Browns might even play at home in a couple weekends.
See, that would be nice too. I mean, I feel like we would surprise a lot of people, especially if we have Joe Flacco's healthy and he's still playing like he can. I mean, there's nothing that I don't think he can't do. I mean, the guy proved us all wrong. I mean, we didn't expect him to come in here and play like that. So, Joe Flacco is balling out, man. I mean,
Seems like a kid too.
I'm really excited to see what he does and how far we can go. Do I know? No. But I'm just excited to witness it. I mean, that would be amazing if we could get farther than, just the Texans. I mean,
yeah. They
I'm
need
all
a new
for it.
banner in Cleveland, though. We are all witnesses, except for just Flacco.
But
the
think
Flacco
about
face.
how good we would have been, though, if, like, Nick Chubb and them didn't get hurt. Like,
It's crazy.
I mean, our team's taking a beating this year. But if they were all healthy, I
A
mean,
lot of starters have gone down this year, but
Absolutely.
the resiliency, that's one thing that they've been talking about as you look at. But that was a couple of years ago. Actually, 2020, I
yeah,
think.
what a resilient team. I mean, they just don't give up, man. That's one thing you have to respect. I mean, people say a lot of stuff about Cleveland, but at the end of the day, I mean, we're doing stuff that most teams couldn't. So
That's right, man.
shout out to them.
Love watching the locker room speeches after every win from Kevin Stefanski.
Oh,
You can
yeah.
tell that it's a unified bunch. It's a team love playing for each other. Jim Schwartz has changed the entire dynamic.
Absolutely.
But Flacco has been the key because I think we all kind of turned in our keys of the season when we saw DTR go down, gets knocked out of the game against Denver, and we're like, hey, another loss. Didn't look great.
Yeah.
Who are we going to put in there? PJ Walker. This is what we're looking at here now. So Browns, if they do get it done, like I said, if there's an upset, so for example, if Miami or Pittsburgh were to win, it's a possibility Cleveland goes someplace else. But I would love, honestly, to get an opportunity to play those Ravens again, wouldn't you?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, that'd be great for us. Like I said, I'm just excited to be a part of this. And as a Browns fan my whole life, we don't get too many years like this. So I need to
None
enjoy
that I
them.
can remember.
I need to enjoy them as much as I can. I mean, I've been getting stuff my whole life for being a Browns fan. So I'm just excited this year, man. I mean, like I said, Joe Flacco, shout out to him. He's really turned it around for us, and I'm excited to see what he can do. Do I think that we'll beat the Texans? Absolutely. C.J. Stroud is a great player, but I think we have no problems with that. Now, Baltimore, that's going to be a tough game. I mean,
Different beast.
they always play us well, so I guess we'll see what happens.
All right. Can't look too far ahead, but world champion Chaise Nelson, they feel like the Browns, or he does, feels like they have what it takes to get it done.
Absolutely.
UFB featherweight world champion in Mansfield Zone, Chaise Nelson.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for dropping
Thank
by,
you.
man.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Appreciate the time. Yeah, it's been so cool. I saw Chase fight for the first time at the PAL League. I think he was like 13 years old. So to see him now, he's doubled in age at this point. 26 years old. He had all the Junior Olympic accolades and coming out fight when he was 18 years old. Still in high school, weren't you? Still going to Ontario? Still at Ontario High School when he had his first few fights, going down to Mexico. It's been such a cool story to follow, and honestly, one of my favorite success stories in the greater Mansfield area, because not every athlete can stick with it, stay on the grind, the dedication, and especially in this crazy sport. I mean, my dude has had some ups and some downs. He's had some bad contracts, had to fight through a couple of weird things with some trainers, going out to Texas and just moving around camps. And so it seems like finally finding his footing, got a great head on his shoulders, dedicated to the Mansfield Police Department. And that's a guy right there that you want on your PD, that you know he's locked in, he's going to pay attention, he's focused, and he's going to be fair. And if he's got to, I think he can probably take down a robber or somebody in some type of a criminal situation. Already talking about doing the bare knuckle. So if you see him rolling up in a squad car, you better know better than to mess with a world champion now in the boxing ranks, and a guy that has none of those accolades, but a great pair of glasses? He's in the same seat. How about Travis Big League Berardi? Come on, buddy. What's up, man?
I will say this. He had to go down to Colombia and fight in 85-degree weather, those moon pants, whatever. Why don't we have an outdoor snow trails boxing match for the championship? Somebody come up to Mansfield and he fights in the snow with those pants on, everything. I think that'd be perfect. It is cool, though. You have a firefighter from Strong Style that has won the UFC championship. Now you have a police officer from Mansfield at Strong Style that's won a boxing championship.
Let's go.
I mean, it's pretty darn cool in Ohio, right?
Yeah, competing with one another. I think that's pretty sweet. And he said Stipe, a sweetheart, as we all know.
Great
down
guy.
here.
Great guy.
Always been very generous with his time and never got too big for a stardom, even though he considered maybe the greatest heavyweight in the history of the UFC. Oh, God, I really hope that John Jones fight happens eventually, right?
Stipe goes out a winner. That's probably going to be his final fight, won't it?
I think win, lose, draw wouldn't matter. That probably would be his swan song. But if he can go out with that win, wouldn't you have to retire if you knock off John Jones, who I think is the greatest UFC fighter of all time? And there's some debate there, but we got to make that one happen again.
Well, we got to make a WBC championship fight happen for Chaise.
I
He deserves
think
it.
I'm into what you were talking about, though. Out at the snow trails, put a little ring up there, you know, generate some fake snow, even if it's during the summertime.
They already have Winterfest and stuff. Just do it during Winterfest.
Now we're talking.
Right?
Okay. Speaking of talking,
Yeah.
this guy is kind of the talk of the town anywhere that he goes here in the great city.
The
of
unofficial
Mansfield.
official mayor, other than Mayor Jody. Congratulations again, Jody, for that. But
Yeah,
the
this guy, even though he's
mayor,
never
he's the
ran
unofficial.
for office, he's kind of the leader, I think, in the streets, me and you. Our next guest, so talented, well-known and respected in this part of the world that he may as well just be the mayor, right? We can go ahead and give him that.
Yeah. He took the TY Tigers to its first playoff appearance.
The undisputed
Right.
champion of the streets, a man of the people, Mr. Effie James. What's up, Coach, man? How you doing out there?
My guys, how you doing?
Good. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year to you, since this is the first time I've had an opportunity to see you since the holidays. And my first guest said he did not make it until midnight on New Year's Eve. How about you, Effie?
I did. I made it, and well, I took a nap during the day.
Naturally.
So I can make it, and I was in bed shortly thereafter. But I did make it to see I didn't see any ball drop, but I did make it to midnight. So you guys be proud of me.
I really am. Resolution guy? You got any of those going this year?
I'm not a resolution guy, but I'm not like a resolution basher. Lately people have been down on resolutions, and they tell people, don't make a resolution, and they really are hard on people that make resolutions. But I think it's a good time. The New Year is a good time to make changes and say, I'm going to change some things or make some adjustments to what I try to do. And so I'm good with that. I try to take the new year to pinpoint things that I want to be better in my professional life and my personal life. And I try to make a point to be a better son, father, husband. And the new year is a good way to kind of mark when you started that. So that's why I like it. I like the new year to say, hey, I started my journey to be a better husband, a better father, better son on that day. So I'm all in on the New Year's resolution. I'm not big on I'm going to do exactly this thing on this day, but I'm big on doing things better, starting with the new year. I'm big on that. I like that.
I'm actually going to take the exact opposite approach of you, Effie, and I want to do an exact thing on an exact day. And my resolution is going to be watching the Cleveland Browns play for the Super Bowl in Las Vegas coming up here in February. And there's only one guy for the job that can lead us to the promised land. That is Mr. Joe Flacco. And I got to hear from you because I think we all kind of turned over the season to just, hey, the Browns will be the Browns. We're on quarterback number 4. It's all over with. We sign a Raven off the street. This is awful. This is the worst case doomsday scenario for us. And all of a sudden, all he does is throw for 300 yards and a couple of touchdowns every single game, 4 straight wins until we sat everybody yesterday, Effie. What was your first impression when you heard about the Joe Flacco signing, and were you as upset as I was? Because I cannot believe how much I love this man now after the ill thoughts that I had for him just about a month and a half ago.
Well, I'm going to tell you, Brian, the one thing that I did like when we signed Flacco, because of his history, I know that he is he's a guy that can complete passes. And I knew he wouldn't be afraid to push the ball down the field. Now, the thing about his history was, he has been turnover prone. But what we needed for Cleveland was a guy that can force defenses to defend the whole field. So if we could have some playmakers that can make plays like Amari and like our tight end that can make catches, how much worse could it be? Now, of course, I didn't think it would end up going as well as it has, but Flacco brought some moxie that, frankly, I didn't think he would bring. And I think once he got in, his confidence became infectious, and the guys you talk about rallying around a guy, both sides, really, even though the defense had been playing great, they turned up their level, it seems like, because they felt like here's a guy that we can win games now. So they even turned up their level of play because they felt like, okay, we can get points so we can actually win. So he, talk about galvanizing a franchise. He really done that. So I'm super impressed with Flacco's play, but I can't say that I expected it for sure.
I don't think very many people expected the opponent's quarterback, C.J. Stroud, to ball out the way that this rookie has been. He is easily going to be the NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year. So what a matchup. I don't think you can script this any better. He comes in, he rejuvenates this Houston Texan team that drafting up at the top of the league, and then the Deshaun Watson thing where he's on the roster, and now we're going head-to-head with that. So for Ohio sports fans and football fans specifically, the NFL just seems like they just have these storylines fall right into their lap every single year because you can't script this stuff. It's just too good. What do you think about the quarterback battle that we're about to have? Mr. Flacco, who you just talked about, going against C.J. Stroud, and then Houston and Cleveland. What a first-round matchup this is.
I absolutely love the way CJ's playing. I watch him play, and 2 things come to mind when I watch him play. Number one, no way Michigan beat him twice without cheating. Right? So that's number one. So the kid is absolutely dynamic, and he sees the field like no rookie should at his level. He, and a lot of analysts talk about processing. He processes very well. And the one thing that he does now as a pro that he didn't even do last year that I didn't notice that he at Ohio State is what they call now off-schedule throws. It seems like now as a pro, you've got to be able to throw the ball off your back foot. You've got to be able to throw from different angles of your arm. You've got to be able to throw as soon as the guy comes open. And C.J. Stroud has been able to do that. Watching the last game they played, I'm watching him throw he was literally standing flat-footed, and he threw a 40-yard strike on the goal line. And I'm like, he didn't do that. He wasn't able to do that at Ohio State. He is playing outstanding. I'm a big fan of his. I even, obviously I was when he was a Buckeye, but it's great to see him playing so well and still being the same character person that he was when he was at Ohio State. So you're right. The storyline between the Buckeye playing the Browns is a great storyline. So for me watching this game, I'd love to see C.J. Stroud have a great game and the Browns win by 3. So,
I think we'll all sign up for that in Cleveland.
Yeah,
and
sure.
I'm sure you've seen CJ in his pregame warm-up. It's the most fun thing in any sport that I've ever seen. He brings out a whole bag. I think he's got a hockey stick in there, a golf club. He definitely has a basketball, a tennis racket. I don't understand exactly what he's doing, but it's working. So, to each their own, that type of thing. And you mentioned that team up north and, kind of how they probably had to cheat a little bit to get by them. They're playing right now, Effie. They actually got a 7-0 lead over Washington. I'm seeing 4 minutes to go here in the first quarter. So
Washington's got a 3rd and goal out of a timeout.
3rd and goal coming up for Washington, so they're looking to tie things up here. Just your thoughts on, A, the Wolverines getting to the national championship, and then B, their opponent from Washington, and just kind of Harbaugh, and then the coach on the other side who's won at every single level and now trying to do it at the Division I, and just what you like about this matchup, and maybe don't like, of course, with the Wolverines in there.
I think the Wolverines are very good. And I think they are quite frankly, they are the best team in college football this year. They're the most complete team. And bias aside, I think that the weapons that they have on both sides of the football, really, they're where they belong. Now, when I look at the performance they had against Alabama, I felt like they outcoached the Alabama staff. I think I tweeted out that night that I felt like the offensive coordinator, Sharon Moore, needs a head coaching job because I felt like he coached circles around the Alabama defense in that semifinal game. I felt like they were light years ahead of their staff. But that has a lot to do with the fact that they have a really talented team. And if you look at the talent that they have, a lot of those young men could have went to the draft last year. A lot of them could have got, they won the Big Ten 2 years in a row. A lot of them could have said, hey, look, I want more playing time. I'm going to the portal. But that Michigan team done what a lot of schools are struggling with their team, with their members to do, which is to hang in and say, you know what, we're going to fight for something bigger. And that's something that I'm hoping that our Buckeyes can steal from that team up north and say, no, right now, if we want to be a team we want to get a championship, sometimes you can't just pick from here and get a guy from the portal and hope it works, and because it's going to take a little bit more than that. In Michigan, I feel like they stuck together, and that's why I say they are the best team. I don't think they're the most talented team in college football. I think they're the best team in college football this year, and that sucks because that's hard for me to say. But objectively speaking, watching them play from top to bottom, I do think they're the best team in college football this year.
Yeah, I'm glad you said it because I'm definitely not going to, Effie, and I really hope that the cookie starts to crumble a little bit after, even if they win the Natty regardless. I think a lot of guys are going to be heading out of town. Their head coach, of course, he's already halfway got a plane ticket heading somewhere else into the NFL, and the transfer portal is probably going to be full of Wolverines, we're thinking. But that's going to be really interesting to see what happens with that, just in NCAA football in general over the next couple of years. This is just the tip of the iceberg with what's going to happen with, kids moving on to different schools and wanting different opportunities and the NIL money. So I love that it's the Wild West and that this is just like the bare bones beginning of it, and once it starts getting some meat on it and we're seeing different guys move around, I think it's going to be really fun here over the next couple of years in college football here.
I'm concerned about that, Brian. I'm gonna tell you, man. I think that the way it looks now, right now you're seeing the beginning of it, but it could be. you're going to be looking at. I'm watching kids now that are applying for their 6th year. Kids that are going to their 3rd Power 5 school, and it is, it's literally free agency, and I don't know what to think of that, and I think that either we got to do one or two things in college football. We've got to say, look, this is what it is. It's not amateurism. We've got to give up on this idea of amateurism at a certain level. We've got to say, okay, at this level of college football, we love the whole idea of them going to school, and that's nice. But sorry, millionaires playing football for these schools. We can't keep calling Marvin Harrison driving around in a Jaguar on Ohio State campus an amateur. You know what I mean? I think we're going to see more and more of that. The more this happens, and pretty soon we're going to start to see colleges buy championships, and that's when it's going to get ugly. So I don't know what the answer is unless we somehow get rid of this idea of amateurism. But we've now opened this portal door, and somebody had an idea about saying, if we shut off and go back to some semblance of making the kids sit a year, even if they go to the portal, that might have some kids thinking about, do I really want to leave or do I want to stay? There's an answer in there. I'm not sure what it is, but right now it's going to get scary in college football, really.
I can definitely foresee a very near future where the NCAA is no longer a factor within college football. They might break away and do their own thing, and then with all the other sports, they can do what they want, but there's just too many fazools flowing into that sport. And I love what you mentioned about Harrison Jr. You see Dion's kid out there. He's got the rollie on his wrist. He's getting his Rolls Royce booted up in a Boulder parking lot. So there's a lot of cash flowing out there right now, Effie, and it's just the beginning of this. But since you brought up amateurism, there's still just one place where you can get that, and that's the high school ranks, of course. And we had a kid on Saturday night did something that you almost never see in high school, okay? 53 points, 12 three-pointers. I don't know if you saw this, if you read the headlines, if you've seen any video, but we're going to roll some of that bean footage for you. Alex Bruscotter of Shelby knocked down 12 trifectas. Have you ever seen anything like this in your entire life as a coach, as just a parent or someone in the media? You ever notice a game like this?
I saw a kid, and when I saw this game, when I saw the highlights, I didn't see the actual game. Alex is a heck of a player. I do know that. I've seen him play now, for a couple of years, and I thought from his sophomore year on, I know he's a heck of a player. But I don't know why his name is escaping me now for some reason. But the kid who went to Ohio State from Medina years ago, back in the late 90s, I saw him just light it up from three. But when I saw Alex have that type of night, I immediately thought of him, this young man from Medina, who we played in the regional finals with Rick Menard and Herman Davis, and I believe that was 90, had to be 2000, 99, 2000 year. And he just I think he ended up with like 46, 48 points or something like that. But since then, I had not seen anybody had that type of shooting display as Alex showed. But Alex, with his size, his skill level, he is the future of basketball. He is what basketball looks like: positionless, unlimited skill, range, can do it all on the floor. And it's going to be a very short time before we see five guys on the floor that, before you know it, if you don't look like and you don't have the skill level like him, it'll be hard for you to get on the floor, at least at the college level. because that's the way the game is headed. But right now, he is a special player, man, and I enjoy watching him play. Even watching the Lex and Shelby game was outstanding. Just watching all that talent on the court, but watching Alex play has been really nice to see him grow and watch his game expand the way it has over the years.
I think he's head and shoulders the best player in our area, not just because he's about head and shoulders literally above most people, 6'7", maybe 6'8" now. He just seems to grow every time I see him. You mentioned Lexington too. They got a couple of studs and 7 in Fogel, and I just seen Logan Toms for Lucas put up 33 in a win. They only got one loss. Justice Thompson for Crestview putting up 30 on a regular basis. His team's undefeated. So what's exciting to me, though, is that not only are these kids that are our star players in our area, are they getting theirs, statistically speaking. They're filling up all the spots on the stat sheet. But all their teams are in first place right now in their league. So I think that we're at a really good place here in high school basketball, and I'll bring Travis into the conversation.
Oh, hi.
Just having these guys that not only are they the leader of your team, but these teams are phenomenal. Like they've figured out how to play as units, and the role players are doing what they need. Coaching, of course, matters, but you can all look at the best player on the team and say they're doing it and leading by example. And I think we've got, 6 or 7 of these guys right in our own backyard.
Yeah, Adam's going to be mad at you because you forgot one big name, and that is the leader of the number 5 team in Division II. Mad Max Dawson in the 5th-rated Willard Flashes. And Effie, I got to ask you, what is up with this district in D2? You got Lexington, you got Shelby, you got Willard, you got Mansfield Senior, and then you got maybe a Galleon team that's up and down. Clear Fork's knocked off some teams. Just how great is it to get a ticket to that district, wherever it's going to be, Ontario or Galleon or wherever it's at, but how awesome is that basketball going to be when we get to March?
Sandusky is going to be outstanding.
They're D1.
Yeah, they got one loss. That's it.
Well, and I did see, the games that I've seen this year from the D2, and I did find out that Sandusky moved up. Sandusky moved up this year, right?
They're in 1.
They're D1 now, but which helps some people in D2, but it is going to be an outstanding ticket. I'm just telling you. I watched the teams that I've watched, and I've got an opportunity to watch a lot of basketball, more than normal, and I have seen some talented players, and Shelby, Lex, Mansfield, and I did see. You mentioned Logan Toms for Lucas, and I'm always impressed when I watch the Lucas kids play basketball, because I'm always impressed with the way they play football. So the way when I see them transfer onto the basketball court, I'm just thinking they're going to be, kids that just lug around the basketball court. But I'm going to tell you what, Logan Toms is an athlete, man. That kid can play.
He's a star.
He is an absolute star. But I'll tell you this, and for all the fanfare, and I was talking to a couple of my friends the other day, for all the fanfare that Braden Fogel has gotten, and it's tough. I would imagine it's very hard for all the fanfare to get as a freshman. And I watch him play, and he's a player, man. And all I watch him do is when it's time to win, he wins the game for his team. And I don't feel like he forces things. When he knows everybody's watching him, everybody's expecting him to make big plays, to make the dunk, to do. I never feel like he forces, but when it's time to win, he gets the big rebound, he makes the big defensive stop, or he gets the big bucket for that team to win. I was very impressed with just the way he plays and his maturity on the court, especially for being a 10th grader. So, I think Lex is going to be very tough to beat. Now, and I will say this, and, call me a homeboy, but my Tigers are streaking, man. we streaking, and we got our football guys are getting into shape. We got a big win out at New Philly last week. That's a big win on the road. We've won, I believe, 6 in a row. Now I think in the next, I believe we go 2 legs in the next couple of weeks. But it is some really good basketball happening in this area, and it is just great to see, like you said, some of the best players are some of the hardest workers. And that is what I appreciate the most about these teams. The best players are working the hardest. I mean, they're playing big minutes. Alex plays for Shelby. He plays huge minutes. Our best player for the Tigers, Kyvie Roan plays big minutes for the Tigers. And when we need a bucket, he gets it. You know what I mean? So the best players for these teams are the hardest workers, and I can appreciate that, man, and that's great to see.
Yeah, it definitely has been. And my awesome research team here at OH.Report brought me over here on a napkin, Effie. Some of those Medina kids you were talking about, maybe Jamal Lucas, Michael Red, ring a bell? Is that who you're thinking of from 98 or 99?
No,
Damon Stringer from the 93 team? None of them guys?
Later. 90. It would have been 99.
That's all I got. I got 3 names
His
on the paper
name's
towel.
right on the tip of my tongue, and he played for Ohio State. He went to Ohio State. Yeah. Shooter.
These guys all played for the Buckeyes too, so I guess we can't. We don't have.
I'm gonna think of it. I'm gonna think of it as soon as we go off the air. It's a guarantee. I will.
Yeah, you text me. You let me know. We'll look him up.
I will. But he's a dynamite shooter. But he had like 46 points against us in the regional final.
Yeah, it's almost as much as Alex. Closing in.
But we end up winning the game. But he had a huge night.
Well, we got the first edition of the Martin RPI for all 4 divisions, Effie. So we'll begin with Division 1. We'll let you take a look at these with us here real fast. And, we don't have really any teams here in our actual physical backyard. We started working, though, with Westerville North this year, and they're at number 15. We've been keeping an eye on Delaware Hayes as well, who's highly ranked here on this list, which is pretty cool. We had Olentangy Orange on a live stream over Christmas break.
It was a great game, too.
Real deal, baby. Number 2. So these are the big boys, of course. These are the big schools out there. Massillon, I think that's kind of cool to see their basketball team, who has not been great as of late, but 7-2, ranked number 24 on this list.
16.
Sandusky.
Yeah.
Number 16. So, man, what a lot of great squads, of course, teams.
Big schools.
Yep.
Yeah. Big schools and some traditional names on that list. Whitmer. Findlay being number 1 is big. They've always been a solid program. Being number 1, that's huge. That's huge for them.
Now, might I add, Martin RPI uses the amount of kids in the school divisions and stuff. What supposedly, I have some sources saying they don't know if it's actually going to be coming out this week when it's supposed to, but if it does, that Max Preps formula where, it doesn't take into consideration divisions. So say if Lucas defeats a Findlay team, it's like they beat an 8-0 D4 team, not an 8-0 D1 team, which kind of head scratcher. So that's why we're sticking with the Martin RPI, and I still can't believe why they didn't use the Martin RPI for district seeding and whatnot. But Findlay,
right.
it just shows Findlay's played some really good competition if they're going to be number 1 in D1.
Absolutely. That's
Division
big
2,
time.
recognize a lot more schools around here. Lexington sitting there at number 4. They're the highest. Willard with Mad Max. Just 1 loss for them. They're up there. Your TY Tiger sitting at 14, so that schedule prevailing. And Shelby at number 16 on there, too. So we've got a heavy influence here in the top 25 around the state in D2.
Yeah, and I think that is, like you said, it's a credit to scheduling and a lot of these schools are they're going out and they're playing some top-notch competition, and it's says a lot about area competition. You know, you don't have to go far to get some good games around this area. You're going to get some quality competition. So, but even with that, a lot of these schools are going out and they're scheduling really good competition. And that's great to see. And I know Lex has do they have a game, or did they already play OG, or don't they have a game coming up?
That's a regular season finale for them, actually.
Oh, is it?
Year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that'll be a big one. They get them at home though this year.
Okay,
that makes a difference.
So a lot of teams are going out and playing. They're going out and playing, which I've always thought is a great look. You know, especially for the basketball tournament, since everybody gets a chance to get in. But nothing like good local basketball, and you don't have to go far to get a good game. And it's great to see. It seems like crowds are coming back. I've been to a few games. I've also been able to watch some. It seems like some crowds are coming back to watch games too, and that's always fun.
Yeah, speaking of Ottawa Glandorf, let's check out Division III. I'm sure they're very high on this list. Number 2, defending state runner-up, right? I think they were second place last year. Crestview, number 15, they're still undefeated. Cary, baby, number 24 as well, playing in the N10, which is actually it's a really good league, I think, up near the top.
I mean, I got to witness one of the great games so far this season.
What a
that
finish that was.
Crawford-Winford buzzer beater by Trevor Vogt, and that's the possible Lucas Colonel Crawford District Championship, or a Mansfield Christian Lucas or Crawford District. That's another great district right there. You got 3 really high-powered teams, and then I think Danbury's in it as well. Danbury's not bad up there, so
I haven't seen Mansfield Christian play yet this year. I usually would have seen them a couple times.
They have great pressure. They have a very athletic pressure team. They can turn you over, and then they can score with Amar Davis. He's one of the best shooters in the area.
Right.
Yeah, they got a couple freshmen, Effie, that are outstanding. So if you get a chance to go check out a game, and especially on their home gym where it's only about 60 feet long and about 10 feet wide, when they pressure you, that's what the Logan Toms game. He had 33 in the win there the other night that I got to see. It impressed me more that he had to do it on that floor. Like there's no space to navigate.
He's kind of used to
so
it.
So he was getting doubled, tripled, and just making plays. So that was awesome. Speaking of Logan Toms, bring up Division 4. No Lucas on the list.
I know.
I am
what
stunned.
is up with that?
I can't believe it. Did they not see Logan Toms perform on a bum ankle the other night? And Richmond Heights, look at that record, but they play everybody. They're number 4 on the list. St. Paul's 15. Colonel Crawford does jump in there at 8-3 with that win over Winford the other night. Norwalk St. Paul too.
Was that Richmond Heights I just saw on ESPN yesterday?
Probably.
Most likely.
I think it was. They were playing some Illinois team. They were on ESPN just yesterday.
Yeah,
I was
Chicago
watching
Bulls,
and
maybe?
I saw Richmond Heights on
they're
ESPN.
scheduling this year, boy.
Yeah.
Don't get me started. But we got a good one. St. Paul Crestview coming up this week on the OH.Report, too.
Yeah,
top
Thursday
25 teams in the Martin RPI.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Yeah, that'll be a game to watch. So if you can stay up that late, Effie, might be, get tucked in, get real comfy in your socks and all that stuff, and then when you throw that on, check it out to kind of have a little nightcap. And
I've been doing better, man. I've been trying to get me. I've been learning to get my little daytime naps in. I've been staying up to around 10:30.
Okay,
I'm doing good.
So on Gear Up's dime, maybe a little couple hour nap there. That's cool. Well, they don't know, don't hurt them. All right, Effie. Last topic that we want to talk to you about tonight. I don't even think it's arguably. I think the best player that we have in the area actually is not a dude at all. It is the young lady named Corey Vermilia from Loudonville, the runner-up for Miss Ohio last year. Kid had a quadruple double earlier this season.
Yeah, you heard that right.
She almost averages a triple-double for the year with steals and assists. But all the conversation on the OH report is not over Corey's unbelievable numbers. Every time we've had her, she's been 30-plus. It's over this. At the end of the third quarter in a game against Cardington Lincoln, they're sitting in a zone. They're down by 15. So Coach Tyler Bates, who in my opinion might be one of the top 2-3 best girls coaches in the area, says, you know what? They don't want to guard us. whatever. So they sat back and they had Corey dribble it for 4 minutes before they went back to work. So I gotta know, Effie, from your perspective, just what your thought is on the quote-unquote strategy here of just waiting out the opponent and say, hey, this is my chess move. If you're not gonna guard us, we ain't gonna do nothing.
Well, wow. I've been in situations like that because it really depends on a lot of things. But in this situation, especially in the third quarter, we've always wanted against the zone to really attack the paint. So a zone in the third quarter, no matter what the score is, I don't want to. To me, it hurts my kids as much as it helps the defense. You know what I'm saying? So, you could blame the other team. I don't know if you can blame the other team for sitting back in the zone. I feel like you can blame both teams, but I'm not going to stop playing because the team sits in a zone, not in that situation. I really want to attack. And for me as a coach, I didn't want my teams to be, I wanted their mindset to be different when they saw a zone. Traditionally, when people see a zone, they feel like it's to protect. I wanted my teams to feel like a zone was something that made them more apt to give up things inside. So what we did when we prepared for zone, we really prepared and had our teams thinking about forcing the ball inside, because what they want to give you is outside shots. So it's just a philosophy thing. So when we saw zone, our kids immediately, we wanted them to think, get the ball, pound the ball inside. Now, ultimately, it might end up in an outside shot, but we generally wanted to get a touch inside to break the defense down so we can get it outside. But the idea of holding the ball against a zone, it goes against my principles, regardless of the situation. Especially in this situation, regular season game, third quarter, I'm sorry. We got to play. Now, fourth quarter, tournament, you know what I mean? We win to move on. That's a different situation. But regular season, I'm trying to get my young ladies ready and prepared and get us better so we can be playing our best as the season goes on. We're going to see zone. We got to get better. So we got to play.
Well, maybe
It's
Tyler was
just
just a little bit concerned about Corey's upper body strength. Got in a lot of dribbling there. You know what I mean? Probably the forearms were burning a little bit at the end of that 4-minute sesh. So it's a little bit of rainbows and sunshine at the end. But I'm looking right here on our Facebook page. Effie, this little video clip that we put out, it's reached about 300,000 accounts. There's over 1,100 comments. Everybody's everywhere on this thing. But the one thing that definitely stands out, lots of folks calling for a shot clock and suggesting, where's the shot clock? How is this possible?
Yeah.
And I'm on the opposite side. I feel like in the high school game, I don't ever want to see a shot clock. So I'm firmly opposed to this, but it seems like I'm in the minority on this one. What say you?
I'm with you, Brian, because I don't think that you can justify. Now, we just got done talking about NIL and amateurism and protecting the purity of the game. How can you justify putting in a shot clock in high school basketball otherwise than saying the fans are bored? Well, what does that got to do with the purity of the game?
Preach.
What does the fans being bored with watching the ball being dribbled have to do with the purity of high school athletics? It has nothing to do. It just has to do. That has nothing to do with it. You can't justify putting. Now they can justify it in college because of sponsorships and TV deals, and they certainly can justify it at the professional level. But at high school, how can you justify a shot clock because a fan doesn't like it? I can hold the ball in high school as part of a strategy because the level of play, the skill level between 14 to 18-year-olds can be so different. I have to employ different strategies. And one of them may be to sit back in the zone or hold the ball. And you can't hold that against me because I have players that may be at different skill levels than my opponent. And if I choose to utilize that strategy, then that's the purity of the game. That's the strategy that I should be able to use as a high school coach and as a high school player. So I'm firmly against a shot clock for high school.
Now, I will say for the Loudonville Lady Redbirds, that is the one time that they didn't get a shot off within 10 seconds of crossing half court. They are a team that has run and gun, and
they're averaging over 70 a game.
Yeah, if there is a shot clock instilled, they probably put up 100 a game because they got to rush it a little bit faster. But yeah, it kind of was a head scratcher. Like at least practice against the zone. Maybe
I think it was in the heat of the moment. I honestly, I didn't get a chance. I saw Tyler once after this. I guess I want to ask him. We've shared some texts about it too. But I think just like he was just like coaching, and then all of a sudden you see there in the clip he walks out and he's like, well, if they're not going to come out and guard you, hold it, Corey. Just anticipating they're down 15. They might want to come guard you.
Yeah.
And it just never happened. And so it became like this, what do they call it? Like the Mexican standoff where like,
cat and mouse.
What do we do at this point? Like someone pulled the trigger and then, well, you're not going to? Well, I'm not going to either. So it was just a weird situation that.
Yeah. I bet if he had to do it again, he may wait for a beat or two, but I think he would play. Once he saw they weren't coming out, he would go ahead and just play because there's no reason for that. You see a zone, somebody changes to a zone, just like in the flow of a game. You go ahead and go to your zone offense, your zone actions, and just play, and try to score. That's it.
Yeah, well, we've seen them against the zone this year, and they've been pretty good. I think 13-0 speaks.
Yeah,
sure.
Effie, hey, my research team, they came through again. I got a note here on some duct tape. They're telling me, if you don't remember the name, Michael Redd did indeed score 48 against the Tigers back in '99, and then went on to Ohio State and then the NBA. Great career. You sure it wasn't him?
It wasn't Michael Redd. That's not his name. It's not his name. His name was I'm going to tell you his name was not Michael Redd. I know who Michael Redd is. This kid went to Medina, and he was a short guard. He either is now or wasn't the coach at Ohio Christian University as of maybe about 5 years ago.
I wonder what my note's going to come on this time.
Yeah, he was a coach at Ohio Christian University, a small college. And I cannot remember his name.
As soon as the lights go off, I'm sure I'll get a text.
I'm sure. But but if somebody said his name, I would know it. But it's not Michael Redd. I know Michael Redd. Michael Redd was not on that team. And this kid was absolutely dynamite. He was on Ohio State's team for maybe a year or two, and he wasn't there for the entire time, but he ended up being a coach. He coached a small school called Ohio Christian, and I know that because Devin Benton, one of our former players. What'd you say?
Stockman.
We got it.
That's him.
All right.
That's him.
He was Mr. Basketball in 2000.
There you go. That's him. Stockman. Tony.
Solving world problems and
Tony Stockman.
Effie brain scratchers right here.
Thank you.
On the OH Report.
Tony Stockman.
We've taken up way too much of your time here. I see
this is
a lot
fun.
of this football game, too, here.
You're not missing much.
Michigan's up 17-3.
2 running touchdowns of 40-plus
How about
yards.
Donovan Edwards ripping off? Yeah, he's over 100 yards now on the game. Who
I would have
had
thought
that
that
on their bingo card?
I would have thought that Penix would have had a bigger. I would have thought they would have been throwing all over Michigan's defense.
Me and you both. Still early.
They're struggling.
Still early, so he can get some sizzle going here and try to make a little comeback, but Wolverines got the ball. They got a 14-point cushion, 10:27 to go. So hopefully things change there.
Right.
But yeah, man, it's always a pleasure talking to you. You're a wealth of knowledge,
sure.
of course, and looking forward to seeing you on Wednesday for episode 1 of the Joe Show, my guy. There he is, the mayor of Tyger-Town, Mr. Effie James, everybody.
Appreciate you guys, man.
All right, thanks for staying up late with us, Effie.
You got it, man. You guys have a great night.
You too, brother. Yeah, that's one of the good ones right there. And he's
yeah.
just one of those people that I think if we sat here and we weren't on the air, we could just keep going and going and going. Doesn't matter what the topic is. Yeah, it's
bedtime for me. He does a lot. I mean,
he really does.
He is the community.
Playwright.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's actually like a reverend at his church, but he does something big over some type of a pastor, like some high bishop
Business
or
owner.
something.
James won his thing.
He is James 1.
Yeah.
He is the man behind that. Of course, he does all the great things with Gear Up.
He
used
does
to
color
coach.
commentary for us.
Yeah, miss having him around.
I got to think if you were doing that district, that D2 district, you're like, hey, if you want to do the games, he would absolutely
For sure.
open up his schedule.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for Miss Jody Perry, Miss Mayor now of Mansfield, if he ran, I think he'd win.
He's the mayor of the streets.
Yes.
That we know.
Yes.
For sure. Jody's got a little bit of clout, but come on. That picture kind of says it all. Yeah, we need to take up
That's
some
his. That's his
billboard space,
mayoral
right?
billboard when we get.
For
if
sure.
he ever runs, there you go.
Yeah,
Got
I'm
it
going
right
to
set
throw
up
his
for him.
name into the ring in about 4 years when it's back up again.
Yep.
So we'll make that happen. But Trav, it's been a fun night. Glad to have you back here, and just looking forward to another big week here on OH.Report.
I'm looking forward to that St. Paul Crestview game.
That's a big one. A couple top 25 teams, like you said, both undefeated in the Firelands. Crestview undefeated outright. So that's got a lot of juice to it, I think. A few other good games coming up too. And big news tomorrow.
Breaking
on our
news.
social media.
We're breaking some
actually
news.
That's not normally what we do. We're not like one of those like investigative news or journalist type of places. But
We're getting to the point where people are telling us to break news.
we got a little piece of information tonight that we're gonna let you guys know first thing tomorrow morning. So stay tuned. Check out all of our different platforms and be amazed tomorrow. I certainly was a little bit shocked.
I'm happy,
Whoa.
really happy.
Me too.
You all will be too.
I'm like the I don't know, like this one, like I was like happy, but at the same time, selfishly, it was
So
like,
happy it's making me choke. I mean, it's
all
it's
right.
great.
So we don't need a death here on air. We're gonna go ahead and sign out here. OH.Report podcast is back. We'll see you guys next Monday, same place, same time.
Peace.
Go Washington. Bring them back.